Well, welcome to the threesome, y'all. The three of us try to tackle about three topics each week. That over there is Star. Say hi to the people, Star.
Hey, people.
Star is our optimistic realist. That over there is Magic.
Hey,
Say hey,
motherfucker.
Magic.
Hey.
And Magic is our voice of reason. And I am Storm, and I identify myself as a pragmatic contrarian.
No
This week,
arguments over here.
no arguments about the pragmatic or the contrarian.
Oh, you're the contrarian.
Oh, I am. My mom used to call me contrary. Like, that's how she used to keep from calling me difficult, or I would imagine some other cuss word. So, Star,
Yeah.
you had a bee in your bonnet. You were irritated this week about something.
I was on the phone talking to a friend of mine, and they had said something about they have been craving tuna fish all week. Like, I'm going to go home and make a tuna fish sandwich. And I was sitting up half asleep, but I was like, why do people call it a tuna fish sandwich? Doesn't the word tuna imply that it's fish? Why do
Mad
people say
redundant.
that? It is
Yeah.
redundant. It is definitely redundant. And I'm just like, why? I was like, and then I started doing like a little backtracking because I'm like, okay, it sounds kind of Southern. So then I put up the question on Facebook, which, yeah, I don't know what I did that for. Because I got some doozies of answers that just let me know there's some strange folk out here in the world. Somebody took the word swordfish and broke it up and was like, well, maybe the same reason why they call it swordfish and like broke up the word. And I'm like,
No?
We
no.
need you to get better friends.
First of all, once again, fuck you.
You did the swordfish thing?
No, but I am her friend, so there you go.
I didn't say all of them, but the swordfish person, nah. Blocked for
Yeah,
life.
I agree.
Somebody said my brain just broke. Okay, because they had never thought about that. All right. Then they said, is it like swordfish? So when I read that, all kind of little smart ass retorts came up into my head like, don't do that. I was just like, swordfish and catfish I get because the root word can be applied to something else.
Something
I was
else.
like,
Correct.
but tuna isn't referring to anything else but the fish.
And for the record, I never call it a tuna fish sandwich. Like,
Yeah,
I've
I've
always just
never.
called it a tuna sandwich. Like, I've always done that.
I don't think I've ever done that. So then somebody else says, I feel like saying tuna fish suggests the natural form that it's in as opposed to a tuna casserole. What? So then somebody else said, people say tuna fish so the listener doesn't mistakenly think they're referring to tuna crunch.
Oh,
I
my
was like,
goodness.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
what are your thoughts? Like,
Well,
where the
like I
hell did that
said,
come from?
I don't know where it comes from, but like I said, I never call it tuna fish. And this is going to sound terrible, but I always thought that was something that white people called it. Like I never,
Tuna fish?
yeah, like I never heard. I mean, because growing up, we just called it tuna. It was never tuna fish.
Uh,
Well, I didn't hear that
that's like even in
until
Harlem Nights. Remember Harlem Nights?
Yeah, that was all
I,
That's
that
like
was
I
even
left
in
in
do.
the
Harlem Nights.
cabinet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I always thought that was
But
some
but you have to understand, I
Southern
didn't.
dialect thing.
No, it's not Southern dialect because I was raised by two Southerners, and neither one of them ever referred to it as tuna fish. So if it's a Southern thing, it's definitely not a Louisiana thing.
Yeah, but there's more places. Well, yeah, never mind. Okay.
But I mean, I guess it's possible it could be a Southern thing. I actually thought it was more of a Midwest thing because.
No, because I was actually raised by a Southerner. I'm talking catching black squirrels in the park and putting them in the pot Southerner. And she definitely said tuna fish.
Okay, so being the nerd I am, I looked up pleonasms.
Good
And there's
vocabulary word.
nerd life. So this is the list of ones they have on it. It's deja vu all over again. Hate that one.
Yes.
It may be possible. Eh.
Yes.
Hear with my own ears. Fuck that. Cash money, I've always hated. Spitting
Me
up
too.
money cash hoes by Jay-Z, like that's redundant. Fuck. Anyway, free gift. Tuna fish is on the list. True fact. I don't know what gnashing of
Yes.
teeth is. Frozen
Oh,
tundra is
that's
another one. It's yeah. False
yeah.
pretense is another one. I don't know what bleary
Yes.
eyed is. Veer off
Um.
course, yeah. Nape of the neck, yo, that is too southern. Down south or up north, yo. All right.
Yeah. Now those, yeah, up north, yeah,
Pin number
and
and
down south.
ATM machine. I'm just glad I'm not drunk enough to be saying north and south at the moment.
The ones that irritate me are the ones that make no sense, like vegan leather.
I hate that.
Like, if it's vegan, it can't possibly be leather.
CB
Like, I
leather.
don't understand vegan leather.
No, and I said that exact same thing like last week, and somebody argued me down and was like, "Oh well, there are companies that have been doing it and blah blah blah." I'm like, I don't give a fuck
No,
about what anybody is
no.
doing.
This
There is
is
no
their
such
way of
thing
telling y'all.
as vegan leather.
No such thing. It's their way of selling y'all fake leather at
Pleather.
leather prices. Yeah, pleather at leather prices. That's all that is. There is no such thing as vegan leather. That just makes no sense. Magic.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
thinking of voting for a third party candidate in this here election
I've done it in the
in
last two
Trump's America.
elections. Well, the actual question is voting for a third party candidate a waste of a vote?
In times like these, they are.
How so?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a waste of a vote if you intend for, Trump to win.
How is voting for a third party candidate automatically a vote for Trump?
Because the diehard Trumpsters are going to vote for Trump. The white supremacists are going to vote for him. The
I
ones
mean,
that don't give a damn about you are going to vote for him. All you're doing is splitting the vote for the people who are against him.
Yep, that's all
That's all
that
it
is
is.
splitting the
Saying
vote.
once you split the vote, then it makes it easier for him to win. And that is exact. Or if you
Yep,
just decide
it
not
definitely
to
does.
vote or vote for a third party candidate. That's how he won last time. He didn't even win by a very large margin. He didn't even get
yeah,
the
but it ain't
popular
like
vote.
Gary Johnson got that many damn votes.
Well, no, but a lot of people just decided not to vote at all.
Here's why I tend to vote for third party candidates. The first being a vote for the lesser of two evils is still a vote for evil. Just because one motherfucker is less evil, that's still stupid. But
Okay, well, let me ask you this. How do you know that third party candidate isn't just as evil?
I don't. But here's the thing.
Exactly. And that
Now,
is
I
my
really,
you,
nah,
you don't know enough about them to make that determination because they're not covered enough.
it's a matter of principles. I really feel like with this current election and with the last one, if it really comes down to these two candidates, the Democratic and the Republican parties are punking the people. There's no fucking possible way these can be the two
Absolutely.
best people for the job. I wouldn't
Listen,
vote for either one of them to run the local school system.
that's probably true.
Right.
But you have to look at the end game for
The
both
end
parties.
game is supplying power for either one of them. They just go back and
Well,
forth.
yes, but what does power look like in
It
Trump's
looks
America?
the same it's been for the last 4 years.
Versus
No, it
Biden
does not
Harris's
look like it
America.
has. And I can pull this card now. I have been on this earth
Lord
for
Jesus
50 years.
Christ.
Oh brother.
I have been on this earth for 50 years. And I've seen some things. The shit that's been going on in the last 4 years is different.
I'm not
Now, I
going
mean,
to argue that clearly Trump is the worst of the two evils, but if we keep acting like
Yes.
we have to depend on two parties to pick, we're going to keep ending up with options like Biden and Trump or fucking Hillary Clinton and
okay,
Trump.
But
okay,
the majority is not going to vote for the
I
there
third
we
get
go.
that
party.
part.
Hence,
But we
the
live in a
reason
world of
why.
analytics. So if it progressively gets more and more votes for third party candidates, at some point they're forced to go, okay, we don't have to stick to these two fucks.
Until, and
And
wait, wait,
okay,
wait,
and even though I don't disagree with
wait.
that, I don't look. Let me say this: I don't disagree with that, but When it comes to this election, yeah, I'm not really on board with that whole experimentation starting with this election because that asshole needs to go.
Absolutely. And here's why. If you have paid attention in the past 4 years,
We've all
what the
been alive.
what the Republicans are doing is getting more and more to where your vote isn't going to matter at all. So
At
go
all.
on and let this
Yeah.
motherfucker get elected again. They already tried to rest in peace to the notorious RBG. They're
RIPD.
already trying to install yet another conservative judge on that court. They've already got the Justice Department that won't check that motherfucker. You've already got the senators the Senate that won't check that motherfucker. Pretty soon, you're going to have an emperor, and none of this is going to make any difference. So you can third party candidate all you want, but pretty soon it's only going to be, one ruler.
Do you honestly think Trump has a
Yes.
chance of losing this next election?
Yes.
Hmm. I'll bet now.
Yes.
I got 50 on it.
Okay. I think I said he has a chance. I didn't say he was going to. He should have lost the last election. A lot of people
And
decided
technically he
they
did.
did.
If it had not been for the dumbass electoral college, he
Well,
would
not
have.
just that, but there was a whole lot of people who were like, I don't like either candidate. I'm not voting at all.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, but still.
Yes, but people were mistakenly going around spouting where they're both just as bad, which was never true. Okay, they both might have been as bad, but the level of bad was never equal, and
Hillary was
that's what the
supporting
problem
her
is.
husband raping kids.
So now
I'm sorry.
the one in the White House now is raping kids.
Exactly. So you can't say one would have been worse than the other.
Well, she didn't rape no kids.
That's not been proven. She was at the island with
Well,
all the
that has
rest of
not been
them.
proven, but no one's ever accused her of doing that, have they?
So if a person's never accused, they're not guilty.
No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
It's
you
still the
can't
lesser of
assume,
two evils.
and sometimes that's all you get is the lesser of two evils, because there can be two things that are evil, and one is infinitely worse than the other.
And at the end of the day, that's really politics in
Yes,
general.
because you have to think about it.
None of these fuckers are
Most people who
perfect.
seek power are the people who shouldn't have it
Yeah.
in the first place. And that is usually true.
I've since third grade looked at a two-party political system like basically you're either voting for a person that's going to rape you and say, all right, take it, or a person that's going to rape you and convince you they love you. Either way, you're fucked.
Sure.
Now,
Um,
particularly like thinking, okay, this third party candidate shit is going to be somehow better, but if you create a system where there's more than two political parties, then shit becomes, okay, let's vote
hey,
for the best candidate.
I agree with that. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Just not
However,
this election.
because the way the system is set up currently, it's not going to matter whether there are two or three parties again if you have an emperor. Like, it doesn't matter how many parties there are. Secondly, even if we don't get a king, if you keep letting the party that is disenfranchising your vote rule the country, then it's not going to matter whether you vote for a third party candidate or not. It's just
Exactly.
never going to matter because your vote isn't going to matter.
It doesn't.
It does. As
It's
we
like
found out
calling into your local radio station and picking a song for them to play on the top 10. It's a waste of your breath. They already picked the songs.
as we found out the last election, that is not true. that is
Yeah, there's
simply
a
not
whole lot
true.
of people who voted for Hillary who got the more popular vote. They was like, shit, my vote doesn't matter.
There are a whole lot of people who stayed home because they figured Hillary would just win, and their
I
vote
never
didn't
did
matter.
that. Okay, and the ones that did vote for hers vote didn't matter. So
Well, that's because of the way the electoral college is, and the
I'm
way.
aware of that, but it doesn't change the fact that the popular vote doesn't
Yes, it
mean shit.
does. Yes, it does. Because if people get out and vote, like voting for president is good and all, but to me, it's more important to vote for your senators,
Yeah,
The
to
to vote
vote
for
local
for
officials.
election.
your governor, because that's where those lines get drawn.
Yeah.
And more people come out for the presidential elections, and then they don't vote for the ones that matter. Those are the ones where those lines get drawn. Because of the way the lines are currently drawn, it's going to take a huge effort to make sure that this motherfucker, I'm sorry, I should be more respectful, right?
No.
No.
Well, I was going to say Mr. Motherfucker doesn't get a second term.
I truly
Mm,
believe it's inevitable.
Well, I don't. I surely believe that they're going to try to cheat. I
You have
mean,
way too much faith in the American people.
no, I don't. I have no faith in the American people. No, I don't.
the ounce of faith that I had in the American people left about 4 years
Yes,
ago.
which
It
is
was
when we
just in the
found
water because
out.
I could not fucking
Yes,
believe.
which is when we found out that at least 50% of America, who we thought were progressing, really aren't.
Yeah, I live deep in Dwight country. No, they're really not.
Well, see, I don't. And
But most
but
of
I
America is this shit. It's middle of nowhere, motherfuckers. They got Confederate flags and Trump bumper stickers.
most of America is wherever you live, is what I'm saying. Your reality is
Mm-mm.
dictated by where you live. And
At least the
where
two
we
of
live,
us, I can't speak for Star. We've moved around a lot. We know once you get off the West Coast or the East Coast, it's a lot of the same shit in between.
there's a lot in between. But there.
Nah, not really.
So, anyway, what were we talking about? Third party candidate.
We got so far
I,
off of that one.
yeah, I will come to your house. And, you know,
Wallow? Anyway,
well,
Mm-hmm.
next topic.
say beach. I was going to say beat you, but I don't know, whether or not you like that.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
got reach.
Mm-mm.
So, an ex coworker of mine, a young lady, and by young, I mean she's probably in her mid 30s. She's been dating a guy for the past 8 months. Now, due to her past, she's, divorced and she has two children. Due to her past, she decided that she wasn't going to sleep with him right away.
That
So
works.
at the 6 month mark, she decided she'd gone and give him a little something. She said she likes him. She thinks she loves him. He's a really good guy. He has a good job. He treats her well. Everything's cool. But he sucks in bed. And she's not quite sure what to do about it.
One, stop waiting 6 months. What the fuck? No, I can see
Okay.
like that's some young dumb shit. You're in your mid 30s and waiting. No, I'm a very much an advocate of get fucking out the way as early as possible because as a man, that's what you're going for anyway. But as a woman, you might as well find out what the fuck you're in for before you're in a situation where I think I love him, I really like him, I'll work with it. No, you should have figured that shit out in the first week.
Okay. Star, your thoughts?
As a person that's not really an advocate for just random ass sleeping around,
Right.
6 months is too long. It's
Common,
Okay.
Ra.
for the same reason in my mind why if this is somebody that you like, you may not want to sleep with that person too soon. And I'm not talking, I'm talking like the first date or the first couple of weeks, only because sex changes things. It's the
Yes.
opposite of that for waiting 6 months. Like you've gotten to know this person Well, hopefully on some other intimate level, you've
Yes.
gotten to care about this person, and now the sex sucks, and you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you've gotten your feelings wrapped up as well. So the only thing left is either you teach him or you get rid of him.
Well,
That you've been playing around for 6 months. Fuck out of
and
here.
that was pretty much my advice to her. He's a little bit older than she is.
Mm.
He's about to be 40. There's egos involved when you talk to, the male of the species. They're normally on that bullshit. She's just going to have to tell him that, because chances are he thinks he's good. He probably thinks
You know what?
he thinks
That's
he's
the thing.
satisfying her.
I don't think when it comes to bad sex, women lie to men on the level that men lie to women.
Oh, I think it's
Most dudes,
worse.
nah, I think most guys that are bad at sex, whether they care or not, is up in question, but they know it. You'll never
I
get a
know.
woman to admit she's bad at sex because no one's ever going to tell her.
I can see that point of view, but as someone
Because we're more
who's
loving, caring people.
oh, stop. As someone who knows a lot of men, you need to know that a lot of guys think they're good simply because women aren't out here telling them that they're not. They
I
just
think
will.
they
Till
know
they
that
run
they're
into
whack, but
me.
you can't portray that persona.
Well, no. And the reason I say that that's not the case is because I've had to have conversations. And what I'm told is, well, I've never had a complaint. And I was told X,
Man, you
Y,
know
and
they
Z.
lying.
Sweetie, you were lied to.
Let's roll this back a little bit. Like, why is the sex
That is
bad to her?
Well, and that was my question. And to go back to what I was telling her was that she needed to have a conversation with him because it's possible it's something that can be corrected. If it's just a case of he's not doing what she likes, then she needs to tell him what she likes, and he's either willing to do that or he's not. And if he's not willing to do it, then you've got a decision to make.
So again, what does bad sex look like to her? Did you have that in depth of a conversation with her?
I did
Oh, okay.
not because we didn't talk that long. But yeah, I,
I have a
I'm assuming
overall.
he's.
What the fuck is bad sex? I mean, I know that
Oh,
differs from person to person, but
it does.
I'm of the mentality if you're over 25, you ought to be able to sit on a dick and make yourself come at least once, and then like, how bad can you
Um,
fuck it up after that?
no, that's not quite the way that works. But
That's why I'm
Here's the
asking.
thing. That's bad sex in my mind for the simple fact that me sitting
You
on
could have
your
did that
shit is
yourself.
more for you.
yes,
Is more for you than it is for me. Now, yeah, can I control the situation from there? But if I can't get off unless I'm on top, we got problems.
that is a problem. That is very problematic.
That part I understand, but if you still came, how bad could sex be?
You're not understanding.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm
Because
weird.
Well, because he's a dude.
No, I'm trying to attempt this for other people because what makes sex good or bad differs from person to person. I'm trying to
It
be helpful
does.
to the listeners.
It does.
And we've discussed earlier, like the biggest thing is pay attention, fucking read the room and react. It's not that fucking complex, but I guess most people don't get that.
Well, here's the thing, and also what you heard me say is that I get bored easily.
Yes.
Yes. So, what sex is never going to look like, what good sex is never going to look like, is me being bored. So, to her point, if I can only get off one way with you and I have to control it, that's going to get old real quick.
Even if shit ain't going the way that works for you, don't you just talk a person through it?
In
I'm an
theory,
asshole, and if some
in,
chicks
in,
doing some
in
off the wall shit, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, stop! No, we're not doing
yes,
that. We gotta do this."
but you don't have to deal with the delicate male ego.
Lucky me.
Lucky you.
I
Yes.
think chicks' egos is way more fucked up than dudes.
I think not.
I think mine is.
That's you.
Kudos to
I
your
mean,
honesty.
I don't have a problem with the dude telling me what he likes.
And
I don't have a problem with
well, no,
that.
I don't have a problem with that. But some people don't know how to talk to folks when it comes to that kind of shit.
Oh, well, sure.
Amen.
Especially when you get in the moment. Like there are some dudes who actually talk to chicks like they talking to like a hooker or somebody in a porn. It's like, dude,
Oh, yeah, yeah. And if you ever want me to climb up off of you, that is a good way to get that done.
yeah,
Because I'll be like, okay, I'm done.
yeah, yeah.
We will cease and desist in a hot minute.
I mean, if we
Yeah,
role
no
playing, if
problem with
we
that.
doing some role playing, that's different. There's some dudes that do that. Come on over here and suck this thing or whatever the fuck, and it's just like, what? I mean,
Right, like who are you talking
who the
to?
fuck you talking to?
But they seem to think that that is sexy or that's supposed to get me. Nah,
if
that does not do it for
if
me.
we're role
People really
playing,
ask for head?
huh?
Yes.
People really ask for head?
It's not the asking that I have a problem with, it's the way you ask.
I don't think that's a thing I've ever done. Well, I'm
Yeah,
not a big fan of head before sex anyway, so I'm just weird.
you are weird.
Wait a minute, you what?
I'm not a big fan of head before sex. That's pointless to me. If I'm eating pussy, there's a point. Pussy's there, it's moisturized, it's loosened up, but I can add to the moisture, I can add to the relaxation. If my dick is already hard, what are you sucking it for? I'm more of a like, okay, if I get to the point where I'm gonna come, okay, suck dick then. Beforehand, it's that shit's a show. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I mean, the general dick sucking thing is male egotistical bullshit. It's kid shit like I got my pee pee in her mouth. Grow the fuck up. I've run into no mouth that feels as good as pussy.
That is what I thought. It's a control thing.
It's
Well, it's
ego.
absolute. I think it's a control thing both ways. Well,
It can be.
I guess it's a control thing for me, I'll say. Well, let me shut up. Anyway, so
Don't just glaze over that.
I was about to tell on myself, and I promised
Pretty
myself I
sure
was
you
not
did in
going.
the second episode.
Anyway, what I was going to say is, like, I don't have a problem with doing that in lieu of intercourse. I don't have a problem with that, depending on how I feel.
Hold up. So dudes is just
How's that
getting
telling
head
on
and then
yourself?
walking away? No, I've heard of these mythical women that actually suck, swallow, and leave. I didn't know they actually existed.
I mean, it depends, like I said, on the situation. But
This
yeah,
dude
there's
said mythical.
what
As far as
a,
I know.
well, I mean, yeah. But yeah, I mean, there are situations where, like, I don't mind that. That's what I'll do, and then raise up.
Have I told you how much I love you lately?
Not enough.
No.
We'll
But
get back to that.
oh Lord, she talking about aw, stop it. But yeah, I mean, there's just times when I'm good with that. Like I don't have to have like it doesn't have to be about intercourse.
If I care about you and that's one of the ways that we connect, I mean, we can do all of that. But we need to get down to the get down.
I
And
will.
unless there's unless there's something going on, something womanly
Yeah.
or, whatever,
Kids in the
whatever.
house.
Huh?
I will say that that's the way, anecdotally, obviously, because I don't know how all women feel, but that's the way that most women feel about it.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying. I'm just saying, with me, I enjoy that on its own. It's not something like a lot of people tell me, well, that's something I do because he likes me to do it. No, that's something I enjoy doing. So I'm cool with just doing that.
I'm cool with just doing that and not having intercourse if we're someplace that's not appropriate for intercourse, such as
No,
he's at work. Even if like we are someplace that's appropriate for having intercourse or whatever, kind of like as one of those, I guess, pick me up moments. Like just go
yeah,
suck you off real quick and I go on about my business, and you relax and do whatever you do, and we good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't require the next step all the time. Now,
Yeah, fucking
I do most
unicorns.
of the time, not all the time, but most of the
no,
time.
no, it's a toss up with me. Like, especially if I'm in a time crunch or something, I got about half an hour until the game's about to start. Okay, let me just hook you up and then let me go watch my game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get into.
I'm sorry.
You're laughing, but I'm serious about that.
That's why I'm
Entirely
laughing.
possible to fuck while watching the game.
I coach. I coach.
You
you
one of them
know,
people that be yelling at the TV.
I do, and and if we're having sex while the game is on, I'm just going to make you mad, and your ego is not going to like it. So it's better if we just do what we got to do, and then you let me go watch my game. It's just better that way.
Sounds
Depending
like
on the
fun trying
game,
to break the
also depending on who's
concentration.
playing. I'm sorry.
Sounds like more fun trying to break the concentration.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to try, but
Can I put it all the way in?
okay, so Star, what I was saying was, like, I don't need the next step all the time, but what I will say is, at some point, that next step is going to have to be there. It's not going to be about me always just sucking it. No, that's not going to be the thing either. But to your point, I like the control of that situation, I think.
Yeah,
But anyhow,
the control is cool. And I guess for me, there's different levels of connecting with someone depending on, which act it is. That's just like,
correct,
yeah.
correct.
So,
But also, I do have a tendency of boredom.
yeah, I get bored too.
Yeah, so you kind of gotta work to keep me engaged, which is
Which is why I'm glad I went through my 20s when cell phone cameras, before cell phone cameras were invented and while they were still shitty.
a
Amen.
fucking men because man, I can't even imagine the shit that would be out there in
Oh
the
my
on
life.
the
Do you
interweb
understand?
if I had come of age in this generation. My
Yeah,
goodness,
no,
I would never
no,
get a job or a
no,
decent job
never,
anyway.
ever, never, ever. And it's not that I've even had that many partners. It's just some of the shit we've done. Like, oof,
There you go.
never ever fucking get a job.
Right.
Filthy, filthy people.
You said
Never
what?
be senator. I'd never be senator.
Yeah.
Your jaw nasty. I'm a saint.
Sure.
No,
Um.
I'm a bit of an exhibitionist, so, and I'll admit
Well,
that
yeah, I'm not.
I am.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Cause my
I've
thing
gotten
That's
is,
caught
not.
outdoors more than a
as
few
long as I'm
times.
not being recorded, I don't really give a fuck if you see us.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
don't care.
See, I'm not that person. But
You've
that's
never
not to
had people
say.
watch you while you're fucking?
Oh, I'm not. I was about to say that's not to say that I haven't done it, but I'm just not that person. It's not a performance for me
Well, it's not
at
even a
all.
performance for me. It's there's a little bit of a kick. I mean, I've only had it happen one time, and it was like somebody's ex kind of like walked up on us, and he didn't see her, but I did.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I lived in college dorms, so
Yeah, I've
privacy
never
was at
had
a
anybody
premium.
be that close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Privacy was at a premium, so yeah, there have been people in the room.
I could never
Um,
do that. I could never. I'll never
Why
forget.
not?
I could never do that. Like that. That's just too close. Where I can feel somebody else's hot ass breath, or like, or reach out.
no, I couldn't feel anybody's hot ass breath. I'll say
I'm
that.
being. I'm just saying that's freaking too close. If I can reach out in a moment of passion and damn near hit you, like touch a toe, or I just no, I can't.
It happens.
That's too
Yeah.
close.
Remind me to tell you a story one time.
Nah, next week we getting into actual threesomes because clearly I'm the perv here. Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
you're clearly the perv. But no,
That's too
I
close.
mean,
That's too close. I remember. I
well,
remember.
first of all, I'm quiet, so
You say you're
I
quiet.
can get. Oh, I'm very quiet. I can get away with such things.
Well, I'm. It depends. It depends for me. I'm not necessarily like whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it depends for me. So, anywho, I'll never forget. We were playing Truth Dare,
I didn't
Double
go get
Dare
it.
on some shots,
Oh,
and I was with T. I was with T's donor. Okay,
Okay.
so
May he rest in peace.
yeah. So anyway, we playing, and they dared him to I mean, like, Lord have mercy. Anyway, they dared him to
Yeah.
go under my dress and kiss my upper thigh. He was not shy about that kind of shit at all. So he did it, and then I'm
What kind of?
already drinking, and that sent me somewhere else. So
Oh, because I'm like,
I was
what kind of? I'm like, what kind of timid games of Truth Dare and Double Dare were y'all playing? Because those weren't the dares that we would get. No, that was
El Paso
no.
was very unique.
huh?
I wasn't talking about El Paso. I'm talking about I'm talking about up at school. No, 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 no,
Well,
no.
see,
The dare would never have been.
You have to
The dare
understand.
would.
You have to
The
understand
dare
that
never
this
would
was
have been
before
kiss
T.
your upper thigh. The dare would have been,
No,
a whole lot more than that.
no, and some of the dares were. Here's the thing, okay? This was before T. This was before her, and it was kind of one of them things where people were kind of there were partial people trying to edge us together, and then there were people who thought we were all ready and just trying to prove it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
What friends are for.
yes, but what I'm saying is, it wouldn't have mattered if y'all were together or not. It wouldn't have mattered to us whether y'all even knew each other prior to that moment. If that was the dare, that was the damn dare. Okay, like that was just the way it was.
No, don't
Yeah,
lie. That's a lie. That was after T. That's a lie. That
yeah,
was after T.
yeah. We were never timid in that way. Is what I'm saying.
Not
There,
my memory
you know,
bad. That was after T.
no, the dare wouldn't have been no kiss your upper thigh.
See, that's the kind of games I'm not playing. I'm not sitting up watching somebody else get their rocks off, and yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, no.
Well, yeah. I mean, generally we were all drunk. Is usually the
Especially
case.
if I'm drunk.
Well, trust me. Usually those games ended in everybody retiring one way or another. So,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
anyway, so girl, because we are off topic. So basically, what I told her was that she was going to have a conversation with him and let him know what she likes. And if he wasn't willing to give her what she wanted, then that's when she was going to have to make that decision. Now, I personally could not be with somebody who was not satisfying me
Would you be
long
willing to
term.
teach at this age?
Teach, no, guide, sure, because there's a
What
difference.
if there was a reason for him being bad? So,
That's a whole different. That's a whole
That's the
different
other
conversation.
question. Did they only fuck once?
did
Was
you
she
hear what he
basing this
said?
all on one experience or a few?
No, what did you say?
Did they only fuck once or was it a few times?
Um, the way she talked about it was that it was three times, because she said she thought
Um,
maybe the first time, he was nervous, but then the second time she realized that's not what it was.
yeah, 3 times is enough of a sample size.
Yeah, I I couldn't be with somebody who doesn't satisfy me. And the only reason I say that is because, and again, it's not about the sex, it's about the consideration. You know what I'm saying? If you don't care enough about me that you're going to make that effort, then you don't care enough about me. And no point in me being with you. And that's just, that's just me.
I mean, some people are just whack. What can you do?
Well, and that's true. And again, I guess some people can live like that as well. And, a lot of people, that's not important. And if that's not important to you, then it's not important to you.
Kill
But
yourself, 'cause what the fuck?
but it's clearly important to her. So, because, she made a point of asking me about it.
And she could always go get a side piece for that.
Sure. But that's not really going to solve the problem. And it's probably, and if you have to go get a side piece, then you've already started from a place where you need to walk away.
All you gotta do is be honest about it.
Well, and that's what I
Motherfuckers have
suggested.
open relationships all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I suggested. Be honest about it, how he feels about it. If he even knows he's not satisfying you, because sometimes,
Dude
dudes
was like
are.
40.
He's 40.
Yeah, you can't be 40 and still delusional.
Sure, you can. I have met them, and a lot.
Motherfuckers are out here walking the earth.
I'm telling you, and a lot of them, it's the case of this is what I've always done.
By 40, you ought to know the same shit don't work on everybody.
You ought to.
But what if you've been in a relationship with somebody, or married with someone for, I don't know, 20 years or so? And
I don't know about that because I didn't ask her. So that is possible.
What if that's the case?
Still, at some point, you gotta adapt. I've been married for 12. I've been with the same chick for 14 years. Yeah, I know what she likes. So going to the next one, I can't expect all the same shit's gonna work. You gotta adapt some of it.
Unicorn.
Common sense.
Unicorn.
Unicorn, I'm telling you.
I realize common sense isn't all that common, but I don't strive to be normal.
And that's what makes you a unicorn. And on that note,
y'all suck, swallow, and leave. Y'all are the unicorns.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I do know about that.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true
because I do know. So it's got to be some truth to it.
It's got to be some truth to it. True.
I appreciate y'all's greatness.
You're funny.
I keep it real, son.
You're adorable.
I'm alright.
You're alright. Anyway, I think we need to get the outro going because there is an Eastern Conference Finals game with my name on it that I'm already late to coaching.
Alright, yeah, I'm going to have to get to that myself. So, this has been another episode of The Threesome. If you love it, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a hoe. If you don't, tell everybody you know. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.